Okay. Beta. I'm gonna show y'all boys where I'm from, man. I'm from that.
All right, what it do? Still with the can show like a lamb, big boss hog, boss dog, can't pull through the dope. Hit the talk to the box, fuck my soliloquy, remember tough talks don't last. Good people do it enough yourself. Call them in if I like me be mad at peak game, made the fellas in will swing. All right. So now we talking about Shakur Stevenson versus Zepeda. For starters, shout out to Shakur Stevenson. Back against the wall, put on a great performance like I knew he would. I told y'all Zepeda is not on that level, right? That's what it is. But we gotta put this notion to bed about this whole Shakur Stevenson fight like Floyd, because he don't fight nothing like Floyd. Floyd wouldn't have got touched with the stuff Shakur Stevenson got touched with last night. I'm just gonna be real. I understand it was a dominant performance, and I give him 1,000% credit. You know what I'm saying? It was a dominant performance. He did what he was supposed to do in there. He dominated him. Zepeda is not that good. I told y'all that. You know what I mean? All this talk about the two best lightweights. I'm like, bro, if this is two best lightweights, then I guess the whole lightweight division is trash. And that's including Shakur. I'm like, stop saying stuff like that. Let's not disrespect, man. Let's not disrespect the sport. Let's not disrespect that weight class, bro. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has that division on lock right now. That division is wide open, right? And I'm being real with you. That division is wide open, right? It's up for the taking. You know what I mean? We got to see how Tank come back and fight, and Tank and Shakur got to fight. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Now, Shakur wins Zepeda. I thought Shakur did a phenomenal job knowing when to engage, when he need to stand his ground, and when he need to move and box a little bit, right? So he fought a complete performance. Good offensive to defensive ratio. You know, he threw a little bit more. He was a little bit more active on the offensive side, because Shakur is normally a defensive guy. He's a little bit more active on the offensive side. And like I told you, I give him 1,000% credit. Put on a great performance. I have to give him a grade. I give him an A-. You know what I'm saying? Now, in that third round, I feel like he got buzzed, okay? I don't feel like he got hurt. I feel like he got buzzed. I feel like he wasn't expecting Zepeda to throw that shot. And he got caught with something, and that's what knocked him off balance a little bit, right? Because you notice it wasn't like he started throwing immediately, right? It wasn't like he started throwing immediately. He was kind of shelling up, you know what I mean? And then, after a while, he got his balance together. That's when he started letting his hands go a little bit and backing Zepeda up. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, you know, I feel like he did get buzzed, but I don't feel like he was hurt to the point where, like, we need to be concerned or anything like that. But like I said, Shakur did a great job of engaging and disengaging. You know what I mean? Shelling up, doing what he got to do as far as countering Zepeda on the inside. He threw some great straight lefts. I think that was in the center of the ring. He was kind of shelling up, and then he caught some on the glove and threw a straight left on Zepeda. I want to say that was round 5, if I'm not mistaken. You know, this is the next day I'm making these videos. But he did a phenomenal job of countering Zepeda. You know, when he sit on the ropes, he was catching stuff on the glove, catching and shooting. Did a good job of, okay, let me use a little bit of lateral movement. Boom, throw this shot. You know what I mean? Like, he did a damn good job. I got to give Shakur credit. If I had to give him a grade, it's A-, right? But, like I told you, when you in there with certain guys that ain't on your level, you got to step on them. And if Floyd was in there with that man, Floyd either would have stopped him, or it would have been so one-sided to the point where the dude would have lost hope, right? Zepeda was still throwing. He was still coming forward, although he was getting caught with shots. And Shakur landed some shots on him. You know what I'm saying? Zepeda, you know, face ain't look messed up. If anything, Shakur face looked on this side. I want to say the left side. You know, a little swollen up a little bit. You know, but other than that, like I say, it was a masterclass performance. Now, where does he go from here? The only fight left is a Tank fight or Raymond Murtaugh. Right? And if Shakur wants to unify, I will be looking to make those two fight next. You see what I'm saying? Or Abdullah Mason fight. You know what I mean? Or Sam Noakes fight. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the bigger fight would be Abdullah Mason because of the fact that Abdullah Mason, if he beats Sam Noakes, he'll have a belt and it'll be a more entertaining fight. They can sell it better, right? But if I'm Shakur, I'm looking to unify. You know what I'm saying? At 135. Right? Like I told you, 35 is wide open for the taking. You know what I mean? You got Devontae Tank Davis, who's been at the top for a long time. I would say he's the most popular fighter right now, but has since taken a little back seat because of the Lamont Rose fight. But he's the most popular fighter. I would say he's the cash cow. It doesn't necessarily mean he's the best. It just means that, you know, he's the cash cow at that division, right? So all these guys need to start fighting each other to decide who's going to stand up at the end. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, I'm not going to lie to you. If Tank is focused, I got Tank coming out of that Rebel because of he could do everything. You know what I'm saying? I've seen him box, brawl, whatever. You know what I mean? And he got experience. Whereas Shakur is more of a defensive guy. Yeah, he let his hands go, but I think it's because William Zepeda couldn't hurt him. And I told y'all, all this stuff about William Zepeda, power puncher, and all, I'm like, bro, that man pillow fisted, bro. Tevin Farmer was standing right in front of that man. You feel me? So that's why I say, like, man, I think Shakur gonna be able to stand in front of him. You know what I mean? Now, granted, I thought that Shakur was going to be able to knock him down. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought it was going to be more like an Oscar Valdez performance. It was just one side beat down. You know what I mean? It was a one-sided beat down, but it was like Zepeda still was a live dog in there. Whereas Valdez, he was just completely just outclassed, looking foolish in there. You know what I'm saying? Shakur outclassed Zepeda, but it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like the Valdez performance where you was like, oh yeah, Shakur, man. You know? But I definitely think that 135 is up for the taking. All these dudes need to fight each other. Now, Shakur saying F everybody who doubted him and he's a runner and this, that, and the third. I like that energy. I think he should be upset. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you because of the fact that, you know, with a lot of time with black fighters, they put that label on them, right? Caleb Plant is a guy that moves a lot, right? And he's white. They don't put a runner jacket on him. You know what I mean? I only seen like one fighter try to use that, and that was Andre Darrell, but the fans didn't run with it. You see what I'm saying? It was just like he was saying it, right? Then he got knocked out. That man got knocked out after that. But all I'm saying at the end of the day, to keep it 1,000, it's like Shakur, man, he can't be worrying about what people saying. You got to fight how you fight. You know what I'm saying? And I think he took it a little personal. But also, like I said, I do think that, you know, with the black fighters, when they be boxers, a lot of people put jackets on them, and you know, because they move, and you know, it's boxing, man. Everybody got different fighting styles. You know what I mean? Everybody fight differently. You know, I heard a wonderful quote by this coach the other day, and it kind of changed my perspective on boxing. Like, the art is to hit and not get hit, but everybody got their own unique styles, right? So you shouldn't watch other fighters to take their style, because they do what works for them, right? Their body type, their fighting style. You know, they have certain attributes that other fighters don't have, right? So in other words, every fighter is going to have their own unique style, right? Every fighter is not going to fight the same. Every fighter not going to be a brawler. You know what I mean? You know, boxing is a thinking man sport. You know what I mean? Use IQ in there, right? And that's just what it is. It's chess, not checkers. It's not about who's the toughest. It's about who's the smartest, right? Now, granted, yeah, you have to put some sense of toughness in there in spurts, you know, but at the same time, it's about this. And Shakur did that yesterday. He showed this yesterday. So, shout out to Shakur Stevenson. Hopefully, he can get these other champions. You know, I know he only wants a tank fight, but he too is a fighter that got to boast of his resume. So he needs to look at these other champions. He needs to, if Abdullah Mason wins, which I think he'll beat Sam Notes in November and become a WBO champion, he needs to look at him, right? Now, granted, he got to have another fight between now and then, right? So he could possibly go fight, possibly go look to get a Muratalla unification. You know what I mean? You know, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't think Muratalla got an opponent as of yet. I mean, it's rumored he's supposed to fight somebody. Like, somebody prominent. I think it's Andy Cruz. But at the end of the day, if I'm Shakur, I look to get that fight next. Fight Muratalla in a unification, and then, you know, top of the year, look at Abdullah Mason or Gervonta Tank Davis. You know what I mean? Which I know he gonna want the Tank Davis fight because it's more exposure, more money. He gonna want that fight. You know, but you know, if Tank don't fight you, you know, you gotta, you can't be worrying about what Tank doing. You know what I mean? You gotta worry about your own career and build your own self up. That way, if you do end up fighting Tank, you can come to the table with more to offer. Hey, look, I got belts. You know, I got this belt. You only got one belt. So, you know what I mean? You may be the more popular fighter, but I got these amount of belts. You feel what I'm saying? So that's how I look at the situation. You know, but great job by Shakur Stevenson. A- on his performance. Stop comparing him to Floyd. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Boss Gun.